What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Alanis Morissette, and we're returning for the last original tune on her 1995 album Jagged Little Pill, which I say that way because in both the folder I'm working from, thank you to Yvonne, as well as the Discogs master release, there's an additional version of You Oughta Know which seems to end the album. In the folder here, it's referred to as the alternate take of You Oughta Know, and on the Discogs master release, it's shown as You Oughta Know / I think In This House, or maybe just This House, so I wondered if it was a medley. Nevertheless, the last tune proper is called Wake Up, which speaks to the act of becoming more cognizant or aware. Obviously that could be more literal, waking from slumber and perhaps a dream. In a colloquial sense, it's often used to try to get someone's attention and pull them out of some reverie or daydream. Hey, get with it, pay attention to your surroundings and the current situation. And of course, if you are off in a daydream or not paying attention, it can be dangerous. It could also be frustrating or difficult for others working in conjunction on some situation or project or process. So it might be a command or a pointed request from someone else who is involved in whatever the current situation is. Given the tone and tenor and attitude of the album, I do wonder if that's a powerful statement to someone who has been unjust or who has taken for granted the importance of the narrator, of the speaker. That would maybe be my most likely prediction in advance. In any case, let's listen. This is Alanis Morissette. The track is Wake Up, and it's the penultimate tune, though seemingly the last original tune on her 1995 album Jagged Little Pill.
You like snow, but only if it's warm. You like rain, but only if it's dry. There's no sentimental value to the rose that fell on your You like pain, but only if it doesn't hurt too much. And you sit and you wait to receive. There's an obvious attraction to the path that leaves resistance in your life. Well, there's an obvious aversion of my insistence can make you try tonight. 'Cause it's easy not to, so much easier not to. And what goes around never comes around to you. To you. Well, there's an apprehensive naked little trembling boy with his hands. And there's an underestimated and impatient little girl raising her hand. But it's easy not to, so much easier not to. And what goes around never comes around too.
The operatic vocal.
Wake up.
I love the ending too. Yeah, that was a really interesting tune. I'll try to start with the lyrics. At first I thought it was essentially her saying that she's been unappreciated by this person who takes her for granted and who's always following the path of least resistance and doing things that are essentially selfish and doesn't mind dishing out pain as long as it doesn't hurt him too much. And it felt like she was basically saying, you know, I'm trying to get you to see the way you behave, but it seems like everything you do, like, normally the expression what goes around comes around. If you treat people badly, eventually they're going to start treating you badly because, you know, essentially that's what you deserve. But the line about what goes around never comes around to you would seem to suggest that he was getting away with it. Like his behavior was awful or ill-considered toward others, but he wasn't really suffering the repercussions or consequences of that. But then we get to the part where she's talking about this, you know, naked and trembling little boy and this girl who's raising her head and essentially being heard. It felt like maybe those were analogs for them, and that after a while or past a certain breaking point, a threshold, she just wouldn't tolerate it anymore, spoke up, got him to wake up, and his response was to essentially revert back to the childish person that he's always been with a more visual metaphor. So I'm not quite sure if there is that chronology in the track, but it did seem essentially the idea of making someone wake up and realizing that the way they've behaved and the way they've treated maybe someone in particular, maybe people in general, is completely inappropriate and someone needs to tell them, and by damn, she's going to be the one to do it. So sonically, we get more of her yodel type singing. I forget, someone mentioned, they described it in a slightly different way that I thought was a better description, but yeah, those melodic shifts that she does in the middle of one syllable essentially, which, you know, a lot of singers, as I've gone through these various deep dives, will have a very distinct style where once you start to hear them a little bit, you'd never mistake them for someone else. Certainly Alanis has that, and most notably in that regard, those yodel type flourishes really stand out. We got some of those. We had some bendy, sort of swooping vocals, but we did also have, and I assume also Alanis, maybe I'm wrong, maybe it was a backing singer, but there was this grand and very beautiful operatic style vocal that was in the background and of one of the moments in the latter or the second half of the tune. So that really stood out as well. That bass, there was this deep groovy bass that came to the fore in a few sections, notably the beginning and then again toward the end. Some 90s guitar, again, the album and this track in particular, or at least this track as well as several others, certainly has a bit of that 90s alternative rock sound. I do think that came through again. And yeah, just another tune in which her self-empowerment, maybe again after a period where she was suppressing her feeling or allowing herself to maybe, on some level at least, not be treated the way that she should. It shone through, it came to the fore, she stood up, raised her chin. It did feel like there was a typical expression of Alanis's power on a personal, like psycho-emotional level, as at least the song played out. So yeah, a cool tune both sonically and lyrically as far as I can tell. As I said, there is actually one more track on here, but apparently it's an alternative take of You Oughta Know, and again, that was a tune that I did have some familiarity with going into this album, though now I have a much more contextualized and multifaceted understanding of what that song is in the larger context of the record, so that's fantastic as well. Do let me know what you think of this. Luca is going to stretch and return to the floor so she can be the floor shark she is. Let me know what you think. I'll see you next time. Peace.